Howdy remarketing fans and welcome back. We're finally up to the stage in this course where we're going to be able to take everything that we've learned so far and move into Google AdWords, where we're going to launch, optimize, configure, and develop our actual remarketing advertising campaigns. But before we do the actual configuration and setup of our remarketing campaigns, we need to talk a little bit about how Google AdWords and analytics talk to each other, because it's important for you to know and understand how the different data is shared between the two platforms. Analytics and AdWords do share a lot of data, but not all of that data that the two platforms share with each other relates directly to remarketing, and not all that data is shared in the exact same way. So we have our Google AdWords account and we have our remarketing campaign, and we likely have our remarketing tag on our website taken from Google AdWords. But what data is shared between AdWords and analytics? So for example, you're able to import a lot of essential Google Analytics information on your website visitors into AdWords, where you could see that data alongside the different reports inside your AdWords campaigns. Here's a screenshot of the columns configuration page inside Google AdWords. By navigating to columns, and then you're going to select modify columns, you're going to be presented with this modify columns menu inside of Google AdWords. Now keep in mind, you could do this via the campaigns tab, the ad groups tab, the ads tab, the keywords tab. In any of these data levels in the hierarchy of your AdWords campaigns, you're going to be able to modify the columns and add Google Analytics data. So you're going to want to go over to the Google Analytics menu item right over here inside your modify columns view. And you're going to be presented with a number of different potential columns that you could add to your AdWords reports. These are the four primary data points that you're going to be able to import in from Google Analytics. Keep in mind, you're only going to be able to see this Google Analytics menu item if your Analytics and AdWords campaigns are linked. You're going to be able to import bounce rate, pages per session, average session duration, and the percentage of new sessions. This is data pulled from Google Analytics that's tracked from the Google Analytics tag, and it's simply imported into AdWords, so you could see a bit of a richer data set on your AdWords traffic. So people coming in from your ad campaigns, whether they be search campaigns, display campaigns, shopping campaigns, YouTube video campaigns, remarketing campaigns, you'll be able to see the bounce rate, pages per session, and these important metrics. As you know from modifying columns, once you click on the double chevron over here to add the columns into your report, you could click and drag and move it around over here, and then click save, and you'll be able to see all those data points inside the actual AdWords reports, whether you're in the campaign level, the ad group level, keyword level, ad level, so on and so forth. So that's how you're going to be able to import a number of important metrics from Google Analytics inside your AdWords account. What about the other way around? What about importing data from Google AdWords into Google Analytics? So here's a screenshot of an analytics dashboard. So by navigating over to the acquisition menu over here, you then want to twirl down this AdWords drop-down menu. You'll be presented with a number of different sub-menu categories like campaigns, tree maps, site links, things like that, but we're primarily focused on just looking at campaign data. In that campaign report, you're going to be able to see a lot of different data pulled directly from AdWords. So over here, we have the campaign name and the campaign ID, which is pretty cool. We're able to see the total amount of clicks for each campaign. We're able to see the total cost of each campaign, the average cost per click of each campaign, and then we could see a lot of other typical Google Analytics data, like sessions, bounce rate, pages per session, and then obviously we could see our entire section on goal completions, e-commerce, however we're tracking this information inside of Google Analytics. If you were to click on any of these campaign names, you would go deeper into the hierarchy and take a look at ad group, keywords, all that information, ad campaign, ad group, keywords, all that information is going to be imported from Google AdWords into Google Analytics. So you, once again, if you're navigating through data in Google Analytics, you could see how your AdWords campaign's traffic is doing. Another cool feature that Google Analytics recently released is this deep linking feature. If you're inside Analytics and you see these little AdWords icons over here, you're able to click on those icons and it will take you to the exact AdWords campaign inside Google AdWords, which is a nice little feature. If you're kind of, pogo sticking back and forth between Analytics and AdWords, you're able to navigate into specific campaigns and ad groups using the deep linking feature by clicking on the AdWords icon. So that's primarily how Google AdWords and Analytics talk to each other when it comes to sharing generic campaign and session related data. But what about remarketing? What are the more important aspects that we want to be focusing on for remarketing in terms of how Google AdWords and Google Analytics share data? Firstly, goals from Google Analytics can be imported into AdWords as conversions. This is optional. You have the option of tracking goals that you set up in Google Analytics, whether that might be event-based goals, URL-based goals, time on site-based goals, any of that deep, complex, very customizable data that we use to create goals in analytics can be pulled into Google AdWords as conversions. In the next lecture, we're going to talk a little bit more about viewing and importing goal data from Google Analytics into AdWords, but the one thing that you really want to be careful about is that if you're tracking conversions using the Google AdWords conversion tracking tag, which I recommend, you don't want to duplicate conversions. If you import the same exact goal, let's say you have a conversion tracking tag in AdWords, which tracks people who reach the thank you page of a contact form submission, and you also have a goal set up in Analytics that triggers a goal when they reach the thank you page of a contact us form, that same thank you page, and you import that goal into AdWords to count as a conversion, you're going to be duplicating your conversion. So one person who clicks on an ad and submits a sales form, in AdWords you'll be showing 2 conversions when in fact it was really 1 conversion, because you're duplicating the conversion because you're importing it from Google Analytics as well. So you want to make sure that you're not duplicating conversions. You could also selectively import certain goals from Google Analytics into Google AdWords, and I'll show you that in the next section. Even more importantly, remarketing audiences are automatically imported into AdWords to be used for targeting in your display campaigns, your search campaigns, if you're running Gmail ads campaigns, YouTube ad campaigns, and remarketing campaigns. This is something which is really important, and this is the most crucial aspect of what we're going to talk about. You have the ability to set up remarketing audiences directly inside of AdWords without touching analytics. We haven't explored that yet, but we will in a couple sections, using the more simplified version of audience creation using the Google AdWords URL-based rules. I've been focused on giving you a deep fundamental understanding of the Google Analytics audience builder because you could create much more nuanced and sophisticated audiences inside Google Analytics and then use them inside Google AdWords. They're going to be automatically imported into Google AdWords for you to use in those campaigns. There's nothing you have to specifically do. They're going to be there for you to use if you want to use them. That's the difference between goals being tracked as conversions in AdWords and remarketing audiences. If you're importing a goal, or if there's a goal, then that's something which is being tracked based on data coming in. A remarketing audience only has an effect if you use it as a targeting method. Remarketing audiences are targeting methods. The same way a keyword in a search campaign is a targeting method. I'm paying for ads based on a keyword which relates to people's search queries. A remarketing campaign is paying for ads based on people on an audience. So if I don't have that audience in a specific campaign or active in a specific ad group, if I don't specifically tell Google to do that, then it's just sitting in my account in the reserves waiting for me to use, which is different than goals and conversions. Goals and conversions are being tracked based on the data that is being pulled from any of the campaigns inside AdWords that are active. In the next lecture, I want to quickly show you how to import goals into Google AdWords from Analytics. And then in the section after that, we're going to talk about remarketing audiences, how you see your remarketing audiences in Google AdWords from Google Analytics, and then we're going to talk about actually building audiences in the Google AdWords Audience Builder if you don't want to use the Google Analytics Builder, or if you want to just do some simple URL-based audiences, which is absolutely perfect, and it's very effectively done directly inside of Google AdWords where you don't have to go into Google Analytics whatsoever. So I will see you guys in a few seconds in the very next lecture.